Folk Wrestling back here with AEW Dynamite review. Oh god, and this was a fantastic show. We're in Toronto for the first time in 3 years. We're in the Coca-Cola Coliseum in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We have got Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Human Suplex Machine. Of course, just before this show, it was announced that Renee Paquette has joined AEW. So who kicks off the show? Renee Young, right? If I call her Renee Young or Renee Paquette, does it change the fact she's shit? No, it doesn't really. She's just the wife of John Moxley. Only reason she's got a contract here. Basically, she's like, oh, it feels good to be back in Canada, brother. That sort of shit. She introduces Christian, and then as she's introducing Christian, Shivani and Excalibur are talking about how do you go from one of the greatest Canadians of all time to one of the worst, referring that Renee Young is one of the greatest and that Christian is one of the worst. I get it, right? Christian's playing a dickhead heel here, so I get him saying that about him being one of the worst, right? That's fair enough. But what the fuck has Renee Young or Paquette said to warrant being called one of the greatest Canadians of all time? One of the greatest Canadians of all time. Like, come on. I don't know who, like, you know, like when you think of the greatest Canadians, right, and of course they're going to be narrowing it down with between wrestling, right? But you think of Edge, you think of Bret Hart, you do not think of Renee Paquette, you know, Lance Storm, Test. What's that all about? You think of them and you don't think of this bitch. It just sucks, man. But then we have Jungle Boy taking on Luchasaurus. But the great thing about this is Luchasaurus buries Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Aye, you Jungle Boy, you wee midget bastard. Of course, Christian did get involved, which, I mean, I don't know why Luchasaurus needs help to beat Jungle. Why are they pushing this Jungle Boy guy? He's built like a cuddly toy. You'd get a 3-year-old. He's embarrassing just to look at. We then had Renee Paquette was backstage interviewing a bunch of jobbers. Then Matt Hardy interrupts and is like, what has the firm done? And then Stokely says that he purchased private parties contract, and so it's not looking good for the big man here. But, and then there's also going to be a match between Cassidy and Matt Hardy. But if Matt Hardy loses to Cassidy, then Matt Hardy will be under contract too to the firm. I mean, why? Like, I don't know, it's just fucking stupid. Like, why is this guy making all these deals and like, oh, if you lose this match, you're under contract to me? Like, what is going on? It just sucks. We then had Wardlow and Samoa Joe, TNT and ROH World TV Champions. That's what I'm talking about, taking on The Factory. The Factory. This just absolutely sucks, man. Joe and Wardlow win. What are they called? Warjo, something like that. FTR came out. Oh, there's a massive evasion. Who gives a shit? It just absolutely sucks. And then Sean Spears came back, made this return. He pushed that guy into the ring, and FTR hit the maneuver on Solo. Do we care? Not really. And in this match, we've got Swerve Strickland taking on Darius Billy Gunn. I mean, why is Billy Gunn losing this match? Billy Gunn, like, what? A guy that's 58 looks fucking like he looks in the prime of his life here. This guy should be in the upper mid card looking like this. He's like the best member that DX have got left. It's so sad when you see DX reuniting on Raw and this guy is left to run it with two guys pretending that they're scissoring each other. Like if you just logically think about that, it's honestly embarrassing. Like, it really is. And then Mark Sterling came out with Tony Nese, and then he said, "I own the Scissor Me trademark in professional wrestling. If you try to use it, I will sue you. And if you try and say it, I will sue you." And then he said, "Until then, Scissor Me, Daddy Nese." Fucking horrendous. Like, what is this gimmick? MJF then cuts a promo. Basically, buddies a few people, says William Regal's like Mary Poppins, which got half a pop out of me, like, but I mean, am I supposed to care? He says he's going to become the next AEW World Champion, right? That is the bottom line. Then we have John Moxley cutting a promo that I just don't care about. He says that it's a dirty job being World Champion. You have to be indiscriminate. You have to fight a lot of fear. You have to get the job done. It ain't fun and games. You've got a target on your back. And then I mean, and then Hangman Adam Page comes out, right? And this has to be the cringiest, most pathetic line you'll ever hear. Basically comes out and says, I heard you say you respect me last week and all this. And he turns around and says, I would be lying if I didn't tell you that coming from you meant the world to me. Could you imagine Rock against Austin or Hogan against The Rock? And one of I could, man, I'd be lying, Rocky, if I said that didn't mean the world to me, saying that you respect me. What? I mean, and see the way he worded it, he was actually like almost in tears, and then he started punching himself, like saying that he's joined the dark side, he's had suicidal thoughts, he's had depression, and then like once he started punching himself, he started selling it, and I think he just punched himself too hard. MJF was watching him, probably thinking, what the fuck am I doing in this company? And to be honest, I'm thinking the exact same. I'm thinking this about anyone in this company, man. It was honestly fucking awful. And the thing I don't get about this, we have our next match, which is Jericho versus Daniel Bryan for the ROH World Title, and this isn't even the main event. Like, what are we doing here? Basically, it's an alright match. It's Jericho and Daniel Bryan. It's never going to be horrendous, but there comes what's that guy called? Danny Garcia, fucking midget. He distracts Jericho. Jericho then gets hit by the running knee by Bryan. You think, oh fuck, Bryan's going to win. Then Danny Garcia cracks Daniel Bryan with the belt. And it's at this point you're thinking, right, so hold on. He literally is, in the past 2 weeks, he's turned and actually tag teamed with Bryan, so it looks like his face, and what, now he's back with Easons. This is just fucking retarded. It's almost like like the buried fence for trying to do stuff where he would just write it as if like it never happened. I mean, that's Exhibit A of what this is. Like, why? You know what I mean? He clearly betrayed the Jericho faction, but yet here he is, fucking turning back and joining the sports entertainers. Don't know, man. Just sucks. Jericho retains the championship, and then we have our main event. I mean, also we had Wheeler Yuta, Claudio, and Regal coming down the ringside. And it's also at this point it's almost completely forgotten that Jon Moxley is in that faction. It truly is. Renee's backstage interviews Nyla Rose. She's showing off her TBS championship. Glad she's not showing anything else off, because that's the bottom line there. We then have Tony Storm and Akira Shida taking on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter. This match just sucked. This women's match in AEW, man, who gives a fuck? Shida picks up the win over Baker, which Britt Baker cannot fucking win a game these days. And then it's time for your main event. The Bastard versus freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. I watched the clips for this match, and the clip kicks off with Orange Cassidy rolling down the ramp at like 1 mile an hour because Pac's trying to get him counted out. So hold on, he can roll down the ramp, but he can't get up and crawl into the ring when he gets to the bottom. That was their logic. Like, what the fuck is this? I don't know what this is, man. This just absolutely sucks, to be honest. But you know, end of the day, Orange Cassidy wins with the orange punch, and he pins Pac, a new AEW All Atlantic champion. We've got the confetti coming down. He's finally a champion in AEW. And listen, what was that belt? The AEW All Atlantic champion? Who the fuck wants that, man? I wouldn't see if Tony Khan phoned me up and went, do you want it? No, mate, I'll stick them in fucking 9 to 5 job getting peanuts, because I'd rather fucking die than be associated with AEW. That's the bottom line. In terms of what this show's getting out of 10, God, I don't really know what to give out of 10, because it was pretty shite. Like, I mean, it really was. You know, I'm surprised there was no Paige. Paige and Renee Young are best friends. I'm surprised they didn't try and, squeeze into those two, but it was shite. The first time it's returned to Toronto in, 3 years or something? One of the first shows that they did must have been literally in Toronto then, because it is about the 3-year anniversary of AEW. Last week was, so that is what it is. Next week it's in Cincinnati, Ohio. Is that not where Jon Moxley's from? Doesn't really matter, no. And then of course with Rampage on Friday with SmackDown, guys. So make sure you check out those reviews. But that's your Dynamite review. It fucking sucked. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. I'd say definitely so far the worst show of the week. Didn't watch NXT, but the Raw clips actually looked alright. So guys, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. Leave your thoughts down below. Check out all the other vids on the channels. Check out all the other Fog vids. If you like your entertainment, your movies and TV shows, go check out Fog Entertainment. If you like your Fitbit, check out Fog Fitbit. If you like your gaming, check out Fog Gaming. If you like all that other stuff, you go check it out. But until next time, that's Fog Wrestling. Until next time, peace.